Hello and good morning. Welcome to Friday with the Rev, live from here in New York City. It's wonderful to have you with me this morning, and I want to thank you for joining me. Whether you're watching this broadcast live this morning or if you are watching it at a later time and sharing it with some of your caregiving friends, welcome indeed. I'm Greg Johnson. I'm the president of GJP International, based here in New York City, whose focus is family caregiving, the backbone of the healthcare systems. And in these conversations, my focus has been very much my life and my ministry, and that is family caregiving, faith, and spirituality. Now, I hope you've had a wonderful Valentine's Day, a time of love, a time of joy, and I send my love to all of you because it doesn't have to be Valentine's Day to send love. And we're going to be talking about something that can hinder love, but something that can also release love. And that is the topic of forgiveness. But before I get to our topic of the day, I want to just do as I always do, invite you to please make contact with me during the week. I'm always grateful for the emails, for the posts, the questions, even some of the calls that I receive. I'm delighted to hear from you. I'm pleased to hear of the work that you're doing, the variations on caregiving, the ages that you're dealing with, and the societies around the world, because we have people watching with us from South Africa to New Zealand, of course, Indonesia, to Singapore, to Malaysia, to China, to Europe, and yes, here in America, because we're united in family caregiving, which to me is simply golden rule living. And that's something that all faiths, or those who are still struggling to find a faith, can indeed relate to. And never have we needed things that bring us together. And so that has been the focus of these programs. And it began, as many of you know, while I was in Bali last year, and I've just returned from a very quick trip to Asia, speaking over there and preparing again for some very exciting events this coming summer on family caregiving and you. Now, to make contact with me, there are two specific ways that really work best. One is through Emblem Health, where I have the privilege of being the senior advisor for family caregiving, and it's nearing 20 years that I have been blessed to be with this wonderful corporation based here in New York City. And my email with Emblem is gjohnson, and it's all one word now, at emblemhealth.com. emblemhealth.com. And also you will find, if you go to the website of www.emblemhealth.com/care for the family caregiver, you will find an enormous amount of resources that are available to everyone. Emblem has from the very beginning insisted that all of our work be put out there for the public. We love that your people are members, but we only serve a specific part of America. And our members, of course, have all of these, access to all of these. But we want you to have it as well. So it's available to you. And by reading some of the things that are being done here, you in your area can perhaps find resources or become that resource. And remember, the word family caregiving is the word that's used here in America. The rest of the world refers to us as carers. So when you're looking for information outside of the United States, use the term carer, C-A-R-E-R. That's one way of contacting me. And also through Emblem Health, and it's on the website, our booklet, Care for the Family Caregiver, A Place to Start. This was originally written in 2005. I had the privilege of co-authoring this for the White House Conference on Aging. It has since had 3 new editions, this one being 2017. So it's very current. In addition, this booklet is available in Spanish, and in Chinese. So feel free to request it, request copies, use it with your friends, use it with your organization, and share the caregiving. Now, the second way that you can contact me is through the Marble Collegiate Church, the very famous Marble Collegiate Church here in New York City, 5th Avenue and 29th Street. And if you're in New York, Sunday morning, come and join us for prayer circle at 10 a.m. I have the privilege of leading that. And at 11 o'clock, our main service in the sanctuary. And then meet a lot of wonderful people. Caregiving is very much part of the journey of Marble, and I'm honored to be part of that ministry. Now, to reach me through Marble Collegiate Church, all you need to do is do gjohnson@marblechurch.org. Now, those are the two addresses through which to find me. There is a third avenue of resources. Recently, with some of my wonderful colleagues, we've been able to establish a YouTube channel. Now, that YouTube channel is available with all of the broadcasts that we have done on Friday with the Rev. It also has some of the lectures that I have done through Emblem Health. It has the YouTube series, You Are Not Alone. So each of these becomes vehicles for you, perhaps a program that you might want to do. Because, for example, some of the You Are Not Alone videos, they tend to be anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes. And they become a wonderful jumping off point for you with a group or with a single individual to listen to what I share with you and then have the opportunity to use it as a vehicle for discussion and looking for the resources, all of that sort of thing. Now, the YouTube channel is entitled Family Caregiving with the Rev. Family Caregiving with the Rev. And I urge you to take and have the opportunity of listening to those as well. We seem to have had a caller. I'm not doing live call-ins on this. And we're going to get them to stop. Thank you. We're going to have the opportunity of having various tools for you. I don't know why we cannot stop this caller. Bless your heart. We will handle you later. I will get back to you, I promise, William. He's calling from Sulawesi. This morning, our topic is the topic of forgiveness and release, because release is the result of forgiveness. Forgiveness, I want to begin with a prayer, as we have always done. We're going to begin with a prayer from Peace Be Still, prayers and affirmations for family caregivers. And let us just pause quietly. Peace. Peace be still. Forgiveness frees, liberates, open doors of possibilities. Help me, O God, to understand forgiveness. For in forgiving I reconnect with you, the great forgiver of all. Help me to look at situations and find my part in it. Help me to forgive myself, to own my part, to release my part, and to release all related to the situation. Let me take action needed based on prayer, or as suggested by a trusted counselor, sponsor, teacher, spiritual director, or clergy advisor. Peace will come. Help me know that forgiveness does not necessarily mean fraternization. I can bless and move on. If my care recipient happens to be the center of my issue, I can offer prayer for them as I pray for myself. And if an amend is needed, I can, through loving service, make that amend to them and to myself. Invite love to heal, triumph, and bless without a word spoken. For that may be humanly impossible due to conditions beyond the present reality and condition. Let love transcend the physical and emotional limitations we now feel. Therefore, I reflect, I release, I let go, and it is so. Amen. Our affirmations from Reverend Marion for today: I bless, forgive, and release the past. I am at peace with the God of my understanding. I let go, confident in the good that God provides. I choose forgiveness, and I am free. From Colossians, we read, bearing with one another, and if one has a complaint against another, forgiving each other. As the Lord has forgiven you, so you also must forgive. Forgiveness. There are two other F words that I like to use. Now, that's a dangerous statement, isn't it? There are two other words beginning with F. Forgiveness encounters both of them. One is forgetting. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. We are human beings. What has happened, we remember. It is part of us. It's often that which is feeding the resentment. But to free ourselves from that resentment, from that anger, from that which is going on constantly, we need to know that once we have done an act of forgiveness, and we're going to conclude the broadcast with an act of forgiveness, but once that has been done, yes, the thought will come to you again. Yes, you will remember. You are human. But what do? You don't dwell in the thought. The thought is not wrong. The thought is. But you bless it and send it on its way. You have forgiven that. You have given release to the other person, the situation, whatever it might be. And you have given forgiveness to yourself. So you bless it and send it on its way. And the more that you do that, the more that that will be released. Now, the second word is forgiveness does not, and you heard it in the prayer, forgiveness does not mean fraternization. And by that we mean you don't need to go back to the same situation. If people, places, or things have been very difficult and frankly evil in your life, in forgiving, you release, you let go, and you don't need to return. You don't need to relive and to regroup in that which caused your issue in the very first place. Because with forgiveness comes freedom. And freedom from what? From resentment. Freedom from anger. Freedom from reliving something that was inappropriate. Something that was not done the way you would have liked to have had it done. And so it's extremely important for us as we look at any issue that we need to deal with in forgiveness, that we look at it, we see our part, we acknowledge our part, and then we go forward to release. Because resentment is like being in jail. And remember, jail has two parts to it. Someone who is in jail, but there's also a jailer. And they're both in jail. And with resentment, very often we are both the person in jail and the jailer. But having that ability and that title, it means also we can take the key of forgiveness, and move forward. We are not stuck in that prison. Now, there is a wonderful portion of writing by the late Emmett Fox in his book that I have used, and you can see that I've used it a great deal. It's called Around the Year with Emmett Fox, and it is readings, and right now it's February, and he's involved in a series on the Lord's Prayer. Forgive us our trespasses, our debts, as we forgive those who trespass against us, as we forgive our debtors. So we're dealing with the topic of forgiveness. And the methodology that he suggests is something that I want to share with you before I conclude the broadcast today, because I think it's a tool that can be very, very effective. But prior to the act of forgiveness comes what? As always, acceptance of that which has been causing the difficulty, and willingness. And sometimes we need to pray just for the willingness to let go of that anger, to let go of that resentment, to let go and be willing to forgive. Because in the forgiving, we aren't just forgiving the other. No, we're forgiving ourselves. And in that comes perfect freedom. That is spiritual growth. And so I invite you to listen to these words from the famous Dr. Emmett Fox. The method of forgiving is this: get by yourself, and become quiet. Repeat any prayer that appeals to you, or read a chapter of the Bible. Then quietly say, I fully and freely forgive, and mention the name or the situation. I lose him and I let him go. I cast the burden aside. He is free now, and I am free true. The truth of Christ has set us both free. I thank God. Listen to it once again. I fully and freely forgive, name, situation. I loose him and let him go. I cast the burden aside. He is free now, and I am free too. The truth of Christ has set us both free, and I thank God. Now, it is important that in doing a treatment, that's a very good word to use, one that Dr. Fox uses many times, in doing a release, in doing a forgiveness, it's important that we don't keep doing it over and over, for it would negate the purpose of the first. But what do? It goes back to what I said about forgetting. Once you have done a treatment, once you have made this complete statement of forgiveness, whenever the thought returns, simply bless it, state that you have forgiven it and you are free and they are free, and move along. And you know what? As time goes by, it fades and fades and fades. And we find peace. We find forgiveness through loving. So I hope that that has been of help to you, whether in a family caregiving situation, and often that can be the situation, because many times family caregivers are called upon to care someone for whom they may have an enormous emotional resentment. Now, there are therapists, and I love therapists. I have a therapist, and I often say that. It's important for people to know clergy also go to therapists. But I have a spiritual director I work and talk to many clergy because it is in community that we transcend from I to the blessing of we. And when we are in the we spirit, the Christ spirit dwells within and among all of us. May peace be yours. And before I close today, I want to share with you one wonderful opportunity. A very dear friend of mine, it's a long name, the Reverend Dr. Ambassador Susan Johnson Cook, known to many of you all over America as Suje, will be leading a group tour into Indonesia. I'm going to have the pleasure of meeting up with them in the end of July. They arrive in July 22nd, and it's a 10-day trip in which they will be doing many interfaith dialogues. They will be talking of many exciting opportunities. The group is known as WOW. I had the privilege of speaking for them last year down in Florida, Women on the World Stage. Now, if you're interested, there are a couple of places left in her tour, and she has invited me to share that with you. For details on that, please go to my Facebook page, Gregory Johnson. My Facebook page is Gregory Johnson. Take a look. Her flyer is there, and it tells you how to be in direct contact with Ambassador Suje. It will be a wonderful opportunity, and all of you are most welcome. Now, I hope that you will have a wonderful week. I thank you for joining me this morning as we shared forgiveness. And may freedom and release and joy be yours today and always. God bless. Thank you for your work in family caregiving. God bless you, and God bless your care recipient. I'll see you next week, Friday, with the Rev.